Jack didn't expect a girl like her when he signed up for the interspecies exchange program. He thought maybe he'd get a quiet fishman or a plant person who stayed in the corner. Not this. Not an alien girl with purple skin, silver eyes, and way too many questions about his body. The space station was already a strange place for a human like Jack. Everything felt cold, sharp, and too clean. But it was better than Earth, better than loneliness, and most of all, better than being forgotten. He was just starting to settle in when the door slid open with a soft hiss. And she walked in tall, slim, wearing only a thin shimmer wrap that barely covered her body. Her name was Sonia. She was from a planet called Nervi, and she had no idea how much trouble her presence would cause. "Are you the human?" she asked calmly, placing her single bag near the bed. Jack blinked, looked at her, then quickly turned around. Yeah, I'm Jack. And, do you, wear clothes?" He stammered, his ears turning red. Sonia tilted her head, confused. "This is clothing." "Are you cold, Jack? Is that why you wrap your body so much?" He didn't answer. He just smiled awkwardly and stared at the floor. This was going to be a long assignment. That night, the room was quiet, too quiet. Jack sat on his side of the bed, yes. They had to share a bed due to space optimization. He kept his blanket high and tried to avoid looking in her direction. Sonia didn't care about distance. She sat cross-legged, her wrap slipping slightly as she dried her long, dark hair. Her skin shimmered under the low room light. It wasn't fair, Jack thought. Why did aliens have to be this beautiful? But just when he thought things couldn't get worse, she pointed at him. More specifically, below his waist. "That bulge," she said with genuine curiosity. "Does it have a purpose?" Jack nearly choked on his own breath. "What?" he squeaked, pulling the blanket tighter around himself. "That area? It changes when you speak to me. Is it a health warning? Or are you in pain?" His face turned red. "No. It sits not like that." Sonia blinked. "Then why do you act strange whenever I mention it? Is this a human weakness?" Jack buried his face in the pillow and groaned. "No, it's just, that's not something we talk about." "Why not?" she asked, sounding genuinely confused. "If it is part of your body and it reacts to me, shouldn't we discuss it openly?" He wanted the floor to open up and swallow him. This girl had no filter, no shame, no understanding of privacy. The next morning, things didn't get better. Jack tried to leave early, hoping to avoid more awkward moments, but as he stepped out of the shower wrapped in a towel, Sonia entered the bathroom calmly. Like she owned the place, she looked at him, tilted her head again, and said, "That is definitely not how our males look." Jack nearly slipped on the wet floor. "Sonia, I'm in a towel." "Yes, I see that," she replied, still staring. "You're not supposed to see that." "Why? I have eyes. You have." "That," she said, pointing again, "I see. And now I have a new question." He covered his face with both hands and whispered, "Why me? Why this assignment?" Later that day, Jack sat at the workstation, still. Recovering from embarrassment, Sonia quietly sat beside him, scribbling alien symbols into her notepad. After a while, she looked up and said something that caught Jack off guard. "I think I made you uncomfortable." He looked at her, surprised. "Yeah, a little," he admitted. "I did not know." "We don't have the same shame, okay? On my world, we speak of all body parts without fear." Jack slowly nodded. "I get it, but here, we keep some things private, especially things like that." Sonia nodded thoughtfully. "I will try to understand." Jack smiled a little. "Thanks," he said. She paused and then added with a grin, "But I still think it's funny how one small bulge makes a whole human act like a broken bot." He laughed despite himself. Maybe, just maybe, This wouldn't be so bad after all. Jack avoided eye contact all morning. He couldn't believe the things Sonia had said the night before. Or the fact that she walked in while he was fresh out of the shower again. Every time he looked at her now, he could feel his face turning red. But Sonia didn't seem embarrassed at all. In fact, she acted like nothing happened. She sat across from him at the small dining table, sipping a cup of glowing blue liquid. Her silver eyes calmly stared at him as she spoke. "Human," she said, tilting her head again. "Why do you hide your mating parts so much?" Jack almost dropped his breakfast tray. "Could you not say that out loud while I'm trying to eat?" He groaned. "But it is a serious question," she replied. "You seem to treat that area like a weapon that must be locked away." He covered his face with his hands. "You don't understand. Humans, we're different. We have rules. Privacy, modesty." Sonia frowned. "So you hide parts of your body, 'cause you're afraid of what others might think." He nodded. "Pretty much." She sat silently for a moment, then said, "Something strange. That sounds sad." Jack looked up, surprised. "Sad?" "Yes," she said softly. "On my world, we are born, we grow, and we share everything, our thoughts, our feelings, even our bodies if needed. There is no shame." Jack didn't know how to answer. He'd never thought of it that way. To him, being private was just normal. Later that day, Jack worked in the station's repair bay. Tightening a loose energy coil, the room smelled like metal. An oil which felt familiar, safe, until Sonia's voice called from behind. He jumped, nearly dropping the wrench. "You scared me." She leaned closer, whispering, "Is your bulge still reacting to me?" Jack turned bright. "Red Sonia, you can't keep saying that." "But I need to understand human," she said seriously. "When it grows, what does it mean? Anger? Hunger? Is it dangerous?" He dropped the wrench this time. "No, it's not dangerous. It's just a reaction. Sometimes it means attraction. Sometimes nothing. It's not something we talk about." Sonia blinked again, confused. "Why not? It's part of your body. You don't hide your fingers or your nose." Jack sighed, rubbing his temples. "This is so hard to explain." Back in their quarters, Sonia sat quietly on the bed, watching Jack pace. "You avoid looking at me," she said softly. "Is it because of the bulge again?" Jack stopped. "It's not just the bulge," he muttered. "It's you. You're open, honest, and not afraid to ask anything. And I'm not used to that." Sonia tilted her head again. "Is that why you act like I'm going to hurt you?" That hit Jack harder than she knew. He sat down slowly beside her. "I've been alone for a long time. Most people avoid me because I don't talk much. I fix machines, not feelings." Sonia gently touched his hand. "I do not avoid you. I find you interesting. Even your silence makes sound in my mind." Jack looked at her, his eyes softening. "You really don't mean anything bad with your questions, do you?" "No," she whispered. "On Nerevi, we ask to understand. That is how trust grows." That night, something changed. Jack didn't feel as nervous. Sonia even wore a slightly longer wrap, trying to meet him halfway. She said it felt weird, but did it anyway for him. As they lay in the same bed, not too close, but not too far, Sonia spoke in the dark. "Do you think you will ever stop being afraid of me?" "I'm not afraid of you, Sonia," Jack said, turning to face her. "I'm afraid of what you might see in me." Silence. Then she said something that made his chest feel heavy. "I already see you, Jack, and I don't dislike what I see." The next morning, Sonia approached Jack with a tiny gift. It was a small sketch she had drawn him. Holding a tool, looking strong but gentle, underneath, in alien script, was a single word. Jack looked up. "What does this mean?" She smiled. "It means someone who hides beauty behind silence. Jack didn't know what to say. For once, he didn't have to. Sonia already understood. It started like any normal morning on the station. Jack woke up early, still half asleep, and shuffled toward the shower room with a towel over his shoulder. The station was quiet at this hour, and he liked it that way. No noise, no awkward questions, no surprises. But he forgot one important thing. Sonia never followed normal human routines. She didn't believe in doors being locked or waiting her turn, or even understanding why humans needed privacy at all. Jack stepped into the steaming shower, water hissing over his skin. He relaxed, eyes closed, letting the stress melt away. For a moment, it felt peaceful, safe. Then the door hissed open. He turned sharply, water still running down his face. There she was, Sonia, with a towel in her hands, but not wearing it, just holding it casually. Like a napkin, her purple skin gleamed from the station's overhead lights. Her eyes calm, her long dark hair braided down her back. "Good morning, Jack," she said, stepping in. "I thought I'd join you." He screamed, not a heroic scream, not a manly scream, but the awkward, high-pitched sound of a man whose dignity was drowning in hot water. "What are you doing?" he shouted, slipping backward and grabbing the glass wall for support. Sonia blinked, surprised, showering. "We share space. Is this not efficient? Shh, you can't just walk in here while I'm naked?" She asked innocently. "So am I. This is normal." Jack turned around quickly, facing the wall, heart pounding. No, this is not normal. Humans don't shower together unless they are mating. She finished calmly. He choked again. "Don't say that word right now." Sonia tilted her head, confused, then took a small step forward. Jack heard her footsteps and panicked. "I swear, if you take one more step, I'm going to pass out." She stopped. "I do not wish to hurt you, Jack," she said softly. "You still fear me?" Jack took a deep breath, still facing the wall. "I don't fear you. I just don't know how to exist around someone who sees everything so openly." Sonia was quiet. Then, slowly, she said, "On my world, hiding the body means hiding the truth. We believe that what is hidden becomes poison inside the soul." Jack turned his head just a little. "And what if it's not poison? What if it's just private?" She smiled sadly. "Then maybe humans carry many secrets in their skin. Later, in their shared room." Jack sat on the bed with a towel still around his waist, hair dripping wet. Sonia sat across from him, now wearing a loose gray station jumpsuit, something she had borrowed to look more human. The change surprised Jack more than the earlier shower scene. "I upset you again," she said quietly. "Yeah," Jack admitted, "but you didn't mean to." "I get that now." Sonia looked down, folding her hands together. "I want to learn. Jack, I want to understand your feelings, not just your body." That sentence hit Jack harder than anything else she'd said. No one had ever said that to him before. Everyone saw him as just a technician. It's a quiet man who fixed wires and kept to himself. But she saw something deeper. "Okay," he said finally. "Then let me teach you something very human." She leaned forward, curious. "We call it personal space, and it's very important to us. It means asking before entering, knocking on doors, not walking into showers." She nodded slowly. "So I must ask permission before seeing you. Vulnerable?" "Yes," Jack said, smiling slightly. "That's exactly it." She paused, then reached out her hand, slowly, not touching, just offering. "May I sit closer to you, Jack?" He laughed softly. "Yes, that's perfect." That night, something changed again. Jack found himself laughing more. He and Sonia sat side by side on the bed, watching a comedy show from Earth. She didn't understand most jokes, but she laughed. Every time Jack did, just to match his joy. At one point, He leaned toward her and said, "You really don't see things the way we do you?" She shook her head. "No, but I want to see you, even if it's slow and strange." Jack looked into her silver eyes, and for the first time since he joined the program, he didn't feel like a stranger in his own skin. He smiled. "You're strange, Sanya." She smiled back, "And so are you." Human? Sanya sat on the floor, legs folded neatly, her silver eyes fixed on the glowing datapad in her hand. Jack, across the room, was half watching her and half pretending to focus on his tools. He had disassembled a laser drill that didn't need fixing just to stay busy. He didn't know why he was acting so nervous. She hadn't walked in on him again. She hadn't said anything strange all day. And yet, his heart beat faster just because she was near. Sanya said, without looking up, "May I ask something serious?" Jack put the tool down slowly. Her tone wasn't teasing this time. This wasn't about jokes or awkward questions. It felt different. "Sure," he said, trying to sound calm. She looked at him. Head slightly tilted, voice soft. "When your body changes shape down there, when the bulge appears, is it always because of attraction?" Jack blinked, frozen in place. His fingers curled around the screwdriver without moving it. The question wasn't new, but the way she asked it was not. Curious, not mocking, not cold, but gentle. Like she truly wanted to understand something important. "No," he said slowly. "Not always." Sanya leaned forward slightly. "Then what causes it?" Jack sighed and sat back in his chair, rubbing the back of his neck. "It's complicated, Sanya. It's not just about the body, it's about the mind." She listened quietly, not interrupting. "Sometimes it happens when I feel nervous, or when I'm around someone I trust or care about," he explained. "It doesn't always mean I want something. Sometimes it just means I feel." "Close," Sanya nodded slowly, her eyes thoughtful. "On my world, we have something similar," she said. "Our skin glows brighter when someone makes us feel safe. Our hearts slow. Our breath changes." Jack looked at her, surprised. "So, it's not just us?" "No," she said softly. "It's just different." There was a pause. Sanya placed the datapad aside and stood up, walking toward him. Jack's heart picked up pace, but he didn't move. She knelt beside him, sitting close but not touching. "Do I make you feel that way, Jack?" she asked gently. He looked into her eyes, felt the heat rise in his chest. "Yes," he whispered. "You do." She didn't laugh, didn't tease. Instead, she reached out and rested her hand over his just warm skin against skin. Her touch was light, respectful, and steady. "I never meant to embarrass you," she said, "but your reactions helped me see something." "I think I was feeling it too." Jack blinked. "You were?" She nodded. "I did not understand it at first. I thought it was curiosity. But now when I look at you, I feel calm and warm. And that is rare for someone like me." He smiled. "Guess we're both weird in our own way." Sanya grinned. "Weird, but connected." Later that night, as they sat on the edge of the bed, Jack told her something he had never shared with anyone on the station. "I used to hate the way I reacted around people," he said, staring at the floor, "especially around girls. I always felt like something was wrong with me, that my body was betraying me." Sanya gently rested her head on his shoulder. "There is nothing wrong with you, Jack," she whispered. "Your body is honest. That is something to be proud of." Her words struck deeper than he expected. No one had ever spoken to him like that before, not with understanding, not without judgment. The next morning, Sanya surprised him again. She wore a soft, flowing robe, not the shimmer wrap, not the stiff uniform, just something in between. It covered more, but it still looked like her. Jack looked at her with raised eyebrows. "You look elegant," he said. Sanya smiled. "Do I look less distracting now?" Jack chuckled. I don't think that's possible. She blushed, slightly a rare Sci replied. I didn't wear it for everyone, just for you, that evening. While repairing a cracked wall panel together, Sonia leaned close and whispered, I no longer watch your bulge, Jack. He nearly dropped his tool again, Sonia. She grinned. Now I listen to your heartbeat instead. It speaks louder. Jack shook his head, laughing. You're impossible, but you like me anyway. She replied, proud. He looked at her and said without hesitation, yeah, I really do. The lights in the room dimmed automatically, signaling nighttime on the station. Jack lay on one side of the bed, staring at the ceiling. Sonia was just inches away from him, lying still, her soft breaths rhythmic and calm. But Jack couldn't sleep, not because he was uncomfortable, but because something had changed. Something deep, quiet, and real. She didn't ask strange questions today. She didn't bring up the bulge or his body or any awkward topics. Instead, she had simply stayed near him, laughed with him, and helped him with repairs like a real teammate. In silence, Sonia whispered, Are you awake? Jack smiled faintly. Yeah. She turned to face him, the glow from her silver eyes faint. In the dark, I like our closeness now, she said, voice soft. Before, I thought touching would teach me about humans. But now, I think just being near you tells me more. Jack turned slightly, surprised by her honesty. It's strange, he whispered. I used to hate sharing my space with anyone. But now, when you're not near. The room feels cold, Sonia reached out slowly and touched his hand, fingers gentle and respectful. We are different species, she said, but maybe we feel loneliness the same way. Jack closed his eyes and let her words sink into his chest. It wasn't about bodies anymore or awkward moments. It was about connection, quiet, honest, rare. The next day brought chaos, a sudden surprise inspection. From the Galactic Culture Exchange Council, a group of serious-faced officials from multiple planets arrived to check the success of the human-alien program. Jack was in the middle of fixing a power relay when he was called to the conference room. He walked in, confused, and saw Sonia already seated, surrounded by 4 alien delegates. Her face was calm, but her eyes flicked toward Jack the second he entered. He could feel the tension in the room. Something was wrong, Human Jack. One of the officials began. We have received reports that your assigned partner has violated certain interspecies boundaries. Jack blinked. What? Their council member added. Physical closeness, emotional attachment, possible improper interactions. His chest tightened. This is a misunderstanding, he said firmly. She hasn't done anything wrong. She entered your bathing space without permission. One delegate said, reviewing a tablet that was a misunderstanding. Jack snapped. We talked. We corrected it. She's been respectful ever since. Sonia stayed silent, letting him speak. Another delegate raised an eyebrow. Do you care for this alien human, Jack? Jack paused, then looked at Senyand. Something in him decided not to hide. Any more? Yes, he said clearly. I do. The room went quiet. Sonia finally spoke. On Narevai, we do not fear feelings. If this connection makes him stronger, not weaker, how can it be wrong? The council exchanged glances. Very well, one of them said at last. We will observe further. But be aware, your bond will be noted in your records, as they walked out together, Jack whispered. Sorry you had to sit through that. Sonia gave a small smile. I didn't mind. You defended me. That matters more than anything, they said. Back in their room, Jack collapsed on the bed. Frustrated. I hate this, he muttered. They act like you're a threat, just because we get along. Sonia sat beside him. Quiet for a moment. Do you remember, she said softly, when I first asked about your body and made you uncomfortable? Jack chuckled. I remember every second. I didn't understand then, she continued. But now, I realize. You weren't afraid of the question. You were afraid of being seen too closely. Jack looked at her, eyes soft. Yeah, I guess I was. She gently placed her hand on his chest. And now? He didn't flinch. He didn't panic. He placed his hand over hers and said, "Now. I think I want to be seen." That night, they sat close together, no longer awkward. She leaned against his shoulder as he explained old Earth music through headphones. She tried listening to a love song and asked curiously, "Why do humans sing about hearts breaking?" Jack smiled, because sometimes when someone means too much, losing them feels like pain. She nodded slowly. "Then I hope I never cause that pain to you." He looked at her for a long moment. "You won't," he said. "Not if you stay." Jack didn't hear her voice that morning. No gentle greeting. No teasing question. No quiet good morning in her soft accent. The room felt too quiet, too empty. He opened his eyes and turned his head. Her side of the bed was cold, the pillow untouched. A strange heaviness sat in his chest. Something wasn't right. He sat up and checked the hallway. No sign of her. The station logs showed one thing. Sanya Naravi. Relocated for assessment by Interspecies Conduct Council. Jack's breath caught in his throat. They'd taken her. No warning, no explanation, no goodbye. Hours passed, and Jack couldn't focus. His hands trembled while working on a power panel. He dropped tools, made mistakes, got snapped at by his supervisor, but his thoughts kept repeating one thing. Why didn't she tell me? That night, he sat alone in the room. He stared at the bed they once shared, the spot where she used to sit and ask questions. Now it felt like all the color had drained from his world. He looked down at his hands and whispered, she wouldn't just leave. Not without saying something, but deep inside, he knew why she didn't. Because she wanted to protect him. 3 days later, a message arrived, encrypted, restricted, but from her, he opened it quickly, hands shaking. Her face appeared on screen, recorded, her expression tired but warm. "Jack. I'm sorry," she began, her voice soft and steady. "They told me I crossed too many boundaries, that I confused your species systems, that I made you uncomfortable." Jack clenched his fists, his eyes burning. He wanted to yell. To tell her she was never the problem. "I didn't mean to break rules," she continued. "But the truth is, I started caring about you in a way I didn't understand. You weren't just my assigned human. You were my piece." Her voice cracked slightly, and when I saw how others looked at us, how they judged, I thought, maybe if I leave, it will protect you. But it hurts, Jack. It hurts so much not to be near you. Jack stared at the screen, silent tears rolling down his cheeks. He didn't care about the council, the rules, or the station anymore. He just knew one thing. He couldn't let her go. That night, he made a decision. He stood in front of the council's office, fists clenched at his sides. They looked surprised to see him, but he didn't care. "I'm here to file a formal request," he said, voice shaking but clear. "Request for what?" Jack took a breath. "To be reassigned with Sanya Naravi. Immediately." One of the council members frowned. "You're aware that your bond with the alien female has been noted as inappropriate by program standards." Jack stepped forward. "I'm aware. And I'm also aware that I'm not the first human to care about someone different." They looked at each other, uncertain. "Explain." One of them said, Jack's voice lowered, but his words were full of emotion. "She made me better. She taught me more than any human ever has. She didn't break me, she helped me feel whole again." He paused, then added, "You call it a distraction, I call it connection. And if that's wrong, maybe your program's the one that's broken, not us." The council took hours to decide. Jack sat outside the door, heart racing. He didn't care if they punished him, he just wanted her back. Finally, the door opened. A female officer stepped out, holding a data pad. "The council has voted," she said. "Your request is approved." Jack couldn't breathe for a second. "She's being escorted back now," the officer added. "But don't expect everything to return to the same." He didn't care. He just nodded, eyes filled with hope. That evening, the door to his room slid open with a familiar hiss. He turned quickly, and there she was. Sonia stood in the doorway, unsure, her silver eyes wide and glistening. He stepped forward slowly. She whispered, "You asked for me." Jack smiled, walking closer. "I fought for you," he said quietly, "because I finally realized something." She looked up, waiting. "I wasn't afraid of your questions, Sonia," he whispered. "I was afraid of losing the first person who ever saw me for me." Tears slipped from her eyes. She reached for him, her voice trembling. "I thought leaving would protect your future." Jack shook his head. "You are my future." And in that moment, for the first time, there was no distance between them. No rules, no fear, no misunderstanding. Just one human and one alien, holding each other like home. Sonia stood at the window of their room, staring at the stars outside the space station. Her reflection shimmered against the glass silver eyes. Calm face and the faint glow of her violet skin. But this time, she wasn't just observing the stars. She was waiting for Jack. The room behind her felt different now. No more walls between them, no more unspoken fears. Just soft warmth and shared silence. Jack entered quietly, a food tray in his hand. He didn't say anything at first, just walked to her side and stood there looking out with her. "They're beautiful," she whispered. "Eyes still on the stars." He nodded. "Yeah, but not as much as what I found inside this room." She turned to him, blinking slowly. "You mean me?" Jack smiled, placing the tray down and sitting on the edge of the bed. "I mean everything that came with you, confusion, awkwardness, your weird questions. All of it." Sonia sat beside him, folding her legs. "I didn't think you'd ever forgive me," she said softly. Jack tilted his head. "For what? For making you uncomfortable, for not understanding your ways, for embarrassing you in front of others." He took a deep breath and shook his head. "I should have thanked you instead." She looked at him, confused. "Thanked me?" Jack nodded slowly. "Because you didn't just break into my space. You broke into the walls I built around myself. You saw things I never let anyone see, and instead of laughing or walking away, you stayed." Sonia's hand reached out slowly, resting gently on his chest. "I stayed because I felt something I've never felt on my planet." "What's that?" he asked softly. "Warmth," she whispered. "Not just body heat, but the warmth of being seen, being heard, being held." They sat like that for a long moment, hands touching, hearts steady. Then, out of nowhere, Sonia grinned. "But I must confess something." Jack raised an eyebrow. "What now?" She leaned closer, voice playful. "When I first saw the bulge between your legs, I did think you were hiding a weapon." Jack burst out laughing. "Oh no, not this again. I even considered reporting it to station security," she added, trying to hold back her own laughter. "You're impossible," Jack said, covering his face. Still laughing, "And yet, you love me," she said calmly, her smile softening. He paused, his laughter fading slowly, then looked into her eyes. "Yes," he said quietly. "I do." Sonia leaned forward and rested her forehead against his. "We are not supposed to fall in love across species lines," she whispered. Jack smiled gently. "Good thing we've never followed the rules." They stayed there, forehead to forehead, breathing together. No more awkwardness, no more fear, no more misunderstanding. Just peace. The next day, they were officially removed from the interspecies roommate program. But instead of being separated, they were reassigned as part of a new initiative. Human-Alien Emotional Integration Research. Jack laughed when he saw the title. They turned our awkward living situation into science. Sonia nodded proudly. Now we're not just roommates. We're research subjects with romantic complications. Jack smiled. That's one way to say dating. Weeks passed, and they began to grow something stronger than friendship. Sonia stopped asking strange questions because now she understood the answers. Jack stopped hiding because now he trusted someone enough to be seen. They built routines together, fixing machines in the station's underbelly, watching Earth movies while sharing snacks, and whispering to each other under the shared blanket during station-wide power outages. They didn't need to say, "I love you" every day, because it was in the little things, the way she made his coffee just right, the way he adjusted the room's light to match her sensitive eyes, the way they sat in silence, yet still felt deeply connected. One night, as they lay in bed, Sonia turned to him and whispered, "Jack, do you know what I realized?" "What?" he asked, half asleep. "That it was never about the bulge," she said, smiling softly. Jack opened one eye. "Groaning, Sonia." She giggled. "It wasn't the bulge, human. It was you." Jack smiled, pulling her closer. "I know," he said, "but if you ever bring that up again in public, I'm jumping out the airlock." She laughed gently against his chest. "I'll catch you, and there, in that small corner of the galaxy among stars, space, and species that rarely understood one another, a strange alien girl and a quiet, human man found something rare. Not just romance, not just peace, but a love that grew from the most unexpected place, a misunderstanding, a question, and the courage to stay together."